ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
I haven't had the time to really cry about it because I'm more tired and I'm more angry about it than anything.
Standing up against Asian American hate crimes. Today, hundreds gathered in City Heights to honor those killed in Georgia last week. It's been 1 week since a gunman went on a shooting spree at 3 spas in Atlanta. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo spoke to AAPI community members who say that vigil gave them the necessary space to support each other.
Members from the AAPI community said tonight's vigil gave them a place to start healing after what happened in Georgia last week, saying it is something they are still trying to process.
8 flower arrangements were placed symbolically at a vigil Tuesday night in City Heights, honoring the victims of the Georgia shooting last week. 8 killed, 6 of them Asian women.
Well, I think we have to make a statement that violence will not be tolerated.
Hundreds showed up in solidarity.
I needed to feel the bond that we weren't alone.
As members from the Asian American and Pacific Islander community shared their experiences as Asian Americans in San Diego.
I felt the need to be in a group where we are all sharing some pain. We are all grieving, but we are also hopeful.
Sharing their fears as hate crimes against Asians have gone up. A recent report by Stop AAPI Hate found these attacks were up 150% nationwide in 2020. 42 reported racist incidents here in San Diego County.
You hear of attacks on elderly Asians on the news, and that just makes me think of my own grandma and makes me worry about her and what could happen to her.
Religious leaders of all faiths expressed their support, leading the crowd in prayer. Other speakers talked about racist incidents they've experienced or even being stereotyped.
A lot of it is processing things that I've experienced in the past and just relating that to other people's stories that I've heard.
A moment to support the AAPI community while still healing from the pain of last week's events and recognizing there is still more work to be done.
Because silence is deadly. Silence will always rally more hate. Always speak up.
In City Heights, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
And leaders in San Diego's Asian Pacific Islander community, they are coming together to talk about the rise in violence against them over the last year. Tonight, Congressman Scott Peters organized that virtual town hall to discuss the issue. As Laura just discussed, attacks have been happening ever since the early days of the pandemic, but the violence, as she mentioned, came to a head with last week's deadly series of shootings in Georgia. As she mentioned, 8 people were killed, 6 of them Asian women. One of the speakers tonight says this is bringing up pain that has been suffered for a long time.
This has been happening for 40, 50, 60, 100 years about the intersection of racism and sexism and misogyny.
Participants tonight called on Congress to do more to tackle the scourge of hate crimes and white supremacy in America.
A local group of Asian Americans met tonight to host a panel on the rise of domestic extremism. It was moderated by our ABC 10 News anchor, Melissa Masiha. Deputy DA Leonard Tran explains local hate crimes have nearly tripled every year since 2017. But prior to last year, those hate crimes didn't involve Asian Americans, but 2020 changed that. Last year, 3 reported hate crimes involved Asian Americans in San Diego. Panelists tonight agree it coincides with rhetoric tied to the pandemic.
Acts of hate have no place in our city, but we also have to recognize that hate doesn't materialize out of thin air. It starts with disrespect. It starts with discrimination, from seeing an entire group as the other.
One panelist says that we can start making a difference by uncovering our own biases.
And investigators are still working to discover a motive in yesterday's deadly shooting at that Colorado grocery store. Today, they named the suspected gunman and the people who were killed. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has more on where the investigation stands tonight.
The magnitude of the loss here in Boulder setting in. 10 people shot and killed at this grocery store. Among them, 25-year-old Ricky Olds, a manager here. Her uncle describing her as the light of the room. Also 20-year-old Denny Stong, Suzanne Fountain, a beloved member of the local theater community, and Jody Waters, as well as Boulder police officer Eric Talley, a father of 7.
My son gave his life to save those people at the Kingsacres. He gave it all, and the hate still continues.
Talley was the first to respond to the chaos unfolding Monday afternoon here at the King Soopers. Shoppers describing the gunman as relentless as he started shooting in the parking lot, then made his way inside.
He went in the store. Right down there. Oh my God. Guys, we got people down inside King Soopers. There's a shooter, active shooter, get away!
Police now say that shooter was 21-year-old Ahmad Al-Aliwi Alisa, seen here bleeding from a gunshot wound to his leg and being taken into custody.
He has been charged with 10 counts of murder in the first degree.
Police say the Syrian-born U.S. citizen who came to this country when he was 3 had prior convictions for assault in 2017 and 2018. But investigators say so far, nothing explains why he did this. They are scouring social media posts and investigating whether Alisa suffered from mental health issues. His brother telling the Daily Beast he believed Alisa was paranoid.
And we're told the suspect bought an AR-style weapon just a week ago. Police say he actually had 2 guns with him during the attack here. And after he finally surrendered here at the store, investigators say he refused to answer any of their questions, instead asking to speak to his mother. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Boulder, Colorado.
Turning to coronavirus and some encouraging numbers. The county reported 243 cases today, while our test positivity rate dropped back down to 2%. Another 4 San Diegans have lost their lives to COVID, bringing that total now to just under 3,500.
A new vaccination site opened up today at Viejas on the campus of San Diego State. County leaders say the location near public transit should make it accessible to more San Diegans. They expect up to 700 vaccines to be given each day during the first week. The site will be open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 9:30 to 3:30. Appointments are required.
The 71-year-old man who plowed his car into a homeless encampment in East Village pleaded not guilty today to vehicular manslaughter and DUI charges. 3 people died last week when Craig Voss drove up onto the sidewalk in the tunnel next to City College on B Street. He remained on scene and was arrested. The criminal complaint doesn't specify what drug prosecutors believe he was on, but we spoke to a woman who knows Voss and told us he suffered a stroke more than a year ago and his speech has often been slurred. He is being held on $1 million bail. If convicted, he faces 20 years in prison.
The confirmation hearing for San Diego Unified Superintendent Cindy Barton is now set for tomorrow. Barton is President Biden's choice to serve as Deputy Education Secretary. She's set to appear before the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee tomorrow morning. Dr. Lamont Jackson will serve as interim superintendent until at least the end of the school year. Now, a group opposing Martin will protest tomorrow morning outside the San Diego Unified headquarters. They say that she is not qualified for the job and claim that black male students have been suspended and expelled at disproportionate rates during her tenure.
Chula Vista police say it's an important crime-fighting tool, but the department's automated license plate reader program is under the microscope. Tonight, the police department presented a report to city leaders addressing community concerns on privacy and best practices. But as ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura shows us, some community members are calling for the program to end.
We want to stop the use of the ALPR program.
Before Chula Vista City Council meeting Tuesday, community groups stood together raising privacy concerns about the police department's automated license plate reader program, or ALPR.
It's an extension of the enforcement projects that tend to surveil border communities.
Concerns started in December after reports that the police department was sharing data with some of the federal immigration agencies through a third-party systems provider. Police say they were unaware of it and immediately stopped sharing data with those agencies. Police addressed some of those safeguards during Tuesday's virtual meeting.
We can choose the scope of that sharing in any way, shape, or form that makes sense to us. As a result of the December 8th council, the chief directed us, we stopped sharing with ICE and Border Patrol as a result of these concerns.
Police say they have 4 license plate readers mounted on police cruisers. They say the system is secure and assure the public it doesn't collect immigration data. They also say the license plate reader program has served as an important crime-fighting tool. But even after the presentation, many that raised concerns before the meeting were still uneasy, calling for the creation of an oversight group and the end of the ALPR program.
The sheer amount of images collected through these ALPRs is really, really scary.
The city will hold a workshop on this issue April 7th. That's when the community can take part and give its input on the automated license plate reader program. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Beloved actor George Siegel has died. In recent years, Siegel co-starred on The Goldbergs right here on ABC 10. He was known for comedy, but he rose to fame when he was nominated for an Oscar in 1966 for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. He became a leading man in many popular 70s movies. And as he got older, Siegel continued to find success in a series of hit sitcoms. His wife says he died due to complications following bypass surgery. Siegel was 87.